welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Rylan, and today we're going to be answering a question that I'm sure each and every one of you guys ask every single day, and that is, how much Mercedes can you buy for a mere $5,000? Well, turns out a hell of a lot. Behind me is the 2007 Mercedes S550. Now, if you're familiar with Mercedes, you know that the S550 is their flagship model. It is essentially the most opulent vehicle that Mercedes makes and competes pretty directly to the Rolls-Royce Phantom and Ghost. Now, we're going to be diving into all the gizmos that this vehicle has, and we're going to be diving into the driving experience. How does it drive? Well, we're going to be answering those questions. Also, you may be wondering, how can a Mercedes like this, that costs, back in the day, in 2007, over $100,000, be only $5,000 just 10, 11 years later? Well, the check engine light's on. That's one thing. These vehicles aren't the most reliable, and they're known to have a lot of very, very expensive problems, especially in this engine format, which is the V8 5.5 liter, which makes 385 beautiful horsepower. Doesn't seem like a lot in today's age, but it does get this car going relatively quick, even though it is over 4,000 pounds. The issue is that someone decided to put a gear connected to the timing chain that has catastrophic failures all the time. So this motor is not really reliable. Now, one small disclaimer before we dive right in, and that is that this Mercedes S550 was bought at auction by a dealer's license. That means that not everyone and their brother can get such a great deal or mechanical headache as this Mercedes behind me. However, if you scour the internet hard enough on Craigslist and Car Gurus, you can find a pretty dang close example of an S550 for relatively the same price. Typical pricing on these vehicles still go for around $10,000. However, there's a lot of variables that can bring that price down or up, just like any car. But without further ado, well, actually, one more thing I have to say, and that is, if you enjoyed the video at any time, please hit that subscribe button. Okay, folks, well, diving right into this, and we could definitely go over the appearance of this behemoth Mercedes, whether or not you think it's boring or just the perfect amount of luxurious styling without being too ostentatious. We could all discuss that, of course. However, this video is already going to be long because the amount of gadgets that this thing has, especially for being over 11 years old, is absolutely incredible. Anyways, in other news, someone is yelling in the background. What I wanted to show you is the gadgets, and the gadgets we will show you. Starting off with the doors, which are soft close doors, guys. So that means you don't even have to shut the door all the way, and the car will just whir the door right into its position by itself. So let's see that demonstrated. Oh, no, it doesn't want to do that. Oh, it does it. It's a little finicky because, again, it's an old Mercedes. Is it cool? Absolutely. Is it a gimmick? Kind of, but not really, because everyone sometimes doesn't close their door all the way, and then they have to go back. You got to open the door, and you kind of lose your swagger points. You know, that clean, fast, hop out the car and just not look back at it. Now, of course, I got to show you the front of the vehicle because I'm sure you want to see all of the sides and admire its fantastic beauty. Now, this is one of the Mercedes that still has its little Mercedes plaque on the hood, which is a beautiful touch. They obviously don't make these anymore because people would just rip them off, and I'm surprised that this one is still on there. That gives me hope that this vehicle hasn't been through the ringer too much. But if we look at the characteristics at the front, and we know it's just typical Mercedes. It looks very luxurious with all the chrome on the grille, and it's not too ostentatious. Anyhow, yeah, it's just a standard Mercedes look. and you got your HID headlights. Oh, and yeah, it's got automatic headlight washers, which of course it does, because this car has absolutely everything. Now the back of this vehicle, the look wise, is actually my favorite. I love how it's just swept back and it's minimal on the chrome, so just a very clean look, as well as real chrome tipped exhaust pipes. A lot of Mercedes, pretty much all Mercedes nowadays, and BMW starting to go down this road as well, is where they fit these huge chrome exhaust tips that you think they're actually the exhaust, but they're actually just the housing for a smaller, tiny little exhaust in them. So if you look right on dead into them, you can see that it's not even the exhaust tip itself, it's actually just for looks. But you don't want fake stuff on a luxury car. You want it all to be authentic and working, not gimmicks. Now of course this vehicle comes with automatic headlights and rain sensing windshield wipers. Standard stuff on a luxury car. However, the first thing that catches my eye when I step into this interior is the fact that the instrument cluster, where the speedometer and tachometer is all digital. For the most part, the tachometer is still analog, but everything else is one big screen. In 2007, that is absolutely extremely uncommon to see. Now another crazy feature that this Mercedes S550 has is the ability to move the infotainment screen either facing the driver more, facing the passenger more, or facing right in the middle. There's actually buttons to position the infotainment screen. Whether you want it more directly facing you, you can press a button and you can see that it's turning. Or you can have it standard neutral in the middle between driver and passenger, or have it aimed towards the passenger more. That is extremely unique. Another feat of ingenuity by Mercedes is the fact that this little center console has two openings. A small opening for your phone and just random other stuff, maybe some jewelry, and it also opens from both sides. There's another button, same position on this side, which will open it as well, so the passenger can have easy access to it, which is very intuitive thinking. And then there's a button down here which opens the whole center console and just gives you a little bit more space. Now another fully electronic feature and very convenient is the fact that you're able to move the steering wheel up and down and forward and back by the touch of a joystick. Now let me demonstrate. I'm moving it up, I'm gonna move it back down, and let's move it forward and back, baby. Now another awesome and uncommon feature that this vehicle has is a ventilated and heated seats on the door panel themselves in 3 different stages for both the ventilated and the heated seats. Another before its time feature that this Mercedes includes is the fact that it has an electronic parking brake, which I know, some people hate it, some people love it. Car enthusiasts typically hate it. Okay, sitting in the back seat of this vehicle, and right off the bat, it's tough to call, you know, between the front and the back. I think the back might even feel even more comfortable than the front seats, and that's not too surprising considering this car is intentionally made to be, you know, somewhat of a chauffeur car. Someone drives you around, you just sit in the back and do all your work. Anyhow, it is extremely comfortable, and there's, again, you know, ashtrays, of course, along the door, lots of storage everywhere, everything lined in aluminum, like all the buttons in this nice aluminum metallic trim, which is fantastic. The armrest you get back here has its own storage. There happens to be some gloves right there, beautiful. I don't know whose those are, but yeah, we're not going to touch those. And AC, of course, vents in the back, along with the seats themselves have little vents for AC, which is pretty crazy to see. And vanity mirrors in both seats in the back here with lights. Now one cool feature of this vehicle is that you can flip the headrest up and down with a touch of a button, you know, for better visibility. However, that button lies right here, and it doesn't work anymore, which is really sad. Okay folks, well, that's the interior in a nutshell. now let's see if this thing starts right up. Moment of the truth. Cross your fingers, baby. Ooh, okay. Not the smoothest startup, but it does start up and it does drive, let me tell you. You know, instead of telling you, let's just go on a drive. And trust me guys, this thing is a blast. Okay, so getting this $5,000 S550 Mercedes out onto the road. Can you guys hear that? You hear that whine? Yeah, that's not normal. Don't ask me what that is, because I have not a clue. I'm guessing it could be something to do why that check engine light is on. However, let's pray that this thing doesn't break down on me. Now, going about 40 miles an hour, this vehicle is just so smooth. It glides over every single bump with utter ease. No problem whatsoever. There's hardly any noise from the tires. There is some wind noise, but it's barely anything. And you're talking about a car that is, you know, 11 years old, and who knows how it's been treated in that time. It has over 130,000 miles on it, and for a vehicle to drive this smooth is pretty incredible. It really glides over even the big bumps, like speed bumps. It doesn't shake you around in the seat at all. You just glide over it. I mean, that happens to do with the weight, but it's definitely the calibration of, you know, the suspension and all the times or all the research that they put into making such a smooth driving machine. And it really does show, even, you know, 10 years later. This is still more luxurious than, I would say, 90%, 80% to 90% of all the brand new vehicles, luxury vehicles, whatever, that come out you know, today, that are new. Okay, so enough cruising. Let's put the pedal to the metal here and see what kind of juice we can get out of this. Oh shit, okay. Yeah, we're moving. Okay, it is really quick, I have to say. It doesn't feel like, it feels like it has over 400 horsepower, even in this V8 model. It just, it picks up, the way it builds speed is very unique. Continuous power that keeps building and building and building until, you know, pretty soon you're going like over 100 miles an hour. And trust me, this car, I have no doubt, would feel extremely stable at speeds of over 100 miles an hour, over 130 miles an hour, to put it to you that way. And the feeling you get without really any sound and going that fast is just an incredible feeling. And it's a feeling that I have to experience one more time here as we go over these bumps extremely quick, but you definitely feel the weight. Oh, I'm getting roasted by the sun. Oh my goodness. Don't pull out in front of me. Oh yeah, just pull out in front of me there, bud. Yeah, okay, bud. Yeah, you're lucky. All right, folks, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up here. Again, this is just incredible, the amount of luxury features, amount of technology and refinement in a car that's 11 years old. And it's even more incredible of how much car you can get for the money. Obviously, they cost so little because there's a lot of issues that can happen with these vehicles, especially the V8 model, and repair costs are astronomical. Looking past all that, and I can tell you that this vehicle is an absolute joy to drive. It's crazy how quick it is. It's crazy how smooth the ride is. It's crazy just the overall refinement and the space and the opulence you get in this vehicle. 100% out of this world, and it's definitely the most comfortable car I've driven yet to date. With all that being said, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and as always guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.